Now, what is no-touch deployment?
Well, you know, the web has gotten really popular because you can just take your application, put it up on a web server, and all those users, they have rich browsers and experience that application through a browser. So if you want to make a change to the app, you just update the web server. Well, now, what if I told you that you can do that same type of deployment off of a web server and automatically deploy to tens and hundreds of thousands of clients without ever having to touch the client desktop?
With a Windows application?
That's right, Ari.
I'd call you a big liar, Mike.
You can take that assembly, that exe, and put them up on your web server and have those automatically download to the client's machine and run inside the local assembly cache.
That's great.
You have to have the .NET framework on those PCs, but it's a very simple thing to do. Let me go ahead and show you.
Mike, before you get started, what kind of cologne is that you're wearing?
Ari, please.
You smell great.
So here's the task management application. The good thing about this application is, for your users, I put it up onto msdn.microsoft.com/vbasic.
Nice.
You get the MSI, it installs the web service, the Access database. Obviously, we're using Access because this is just a simple demo.
Excellent.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to go ahead and run it, and we're going to run this application.
Now, this is just a regular old Windows app
It's
running
just a Windows
locally?
app. I've done a little bit of work here showing you guys how to use some of the cool features like the slider bar, and you can edit this. This is like an application for bug tracking or for knowledge management.
What are those little cool thingies on the side?
Those are user controls.
Nice.
Kind of a cool thing. So here's the application. This is just an exe, and I'm running it locally. I'm not running this off the web service,
Sure.
and if I want to read the boot.ini file, I could, because it's a local application. I have full access to this application.
So you're running this locally, you've read from the boot.ini file.
Correct.
Okay, seems pretty self-explanatory.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and close this, and let me just show you that we're building this application. If we go to configuration properties, we're building this just to the bin directory, and so let's go ahead now, let's minimize this. Let's open the developer bin directory.
So that's where we've built that exe.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
And let's go ahead and just copy that over to the inetpub www production application.
Why'd you do that?
Well, because I took that exe and I put it onto the web server on this local machine.
Uh-huh.
So now if I launch this web application, and if I hover over the start task, look down at the bottom. Localhost production app taskmanagement.exe.
So that is the exe that we just copied up to our local web server.
No special stuff, just copied it up to the local web service, click on the link, and it's going to run the application just like I did when I ran it locally.
Now wait a minute there, Big Daddy. Shouldn't you have gotten a little dialog box asking you if you wanted to run that?
Nope, it's all built into .NET on the client machine, and IE understands that we're trying to run this assembly. It launches this IEEE cprod process.
Wow.
But now
no idea what that means, but it sounds great.
But what happens if I try to read my boot.ini file?
I don't know.
I don't.
Mike, there's obviously a bug in your code.
No, it's not a bug. This is running off the local web service on the internet. I don't want people to be able to read the boot.ini file. So they don't get that privilege.
So by running this on the local web server or from any web server, you have a different security level automatically set by your local system?
That's right. There's a default security policy that ships with each workstation.NET installation.
With the .NET framework?
And you can go ahead and modify that if you want.
That is amazing.
So this is the default case. Now, this is a pretty ugly message. You wouldn't want your user to see this codes access permission token. So we're going to go ahead and quit this. And what I'm going to do is go back to the IDE, and I'm going to click on the button, and I'm going to put some little error handling here. So let's just do a little try catch.
Now wait a second, I'm used to doing on-error go-to. Is that still around?
We can do on-error go-to if you'd like, but I think we might have a little bit more fun with try catch. So we'll just do a try catch and an end try.
This is fun.
And then in here we'll just do MSG box, paren, and we'll just do, get my mouse back here.
Let's hit that button. Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Scroll down, why don't you there, Big Daddy? Oh boy. All right. You do
We're
not
having
have
fun.
access.
Okay, so now we're ready to go. We put a try catch around
now,
it.
What exactly did we just do there? We wrapped that code.
This is the code that's going to fail. All we're going to do here is just read this file, right? This boot.ini file.
So that's the attempt to read the boot.ini file.
And we didn't have any error statement that says when an error does occur, what are you going to do? And in this case, I just put a general catch. We can do a specific exception for file permissions, but in this case, we're just going to catch
all the code in there is wrapped now, and any error that we come across in there,
you do not have access.
will be addressed by that message box.
So let's go ahead and run it.
Structured exception handling,
So
folks.
running it from the local thing isn't going to make any difference because we have that there. What we really need to do is we really need to go back here to the developer bin, and we need to copy this. So this is how you would update your application. You've got 40,000 users out in your environment, and you want to update your app. Before you had to build an MSI and go ahead and write scripts and install that on each user's workstation.
Right.
Now you just take that one exe, put it up on the server, and everybody can have that application.
It's Windows applications as easily deployed as web apps.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
And so when we click on the link now, we're going to bring up the application. And now instead of getting that great dialogue, we're just going to get our little application.
We have seen no-touch deployment. We have seen a little bit of structured exception handling. Mikey Biggs, you always save the day. Do you have anything else? A little bit of top spin?
I've got a little bit of top spin here. This is an application demo that I think your users are going to benefit from. This is going to allow them to download the VBTV episodes or any file on the internet in the background. See, it turns out that Windows 2000 and SP3 and greater and Windows XP have this built-in Windows service called BITS, or Background Intelligent Transfer Service.
I have no idea what that means.
But you ever use Windows Update?
Yes, I have.
So do you notice how over a slow connection or any connection, Windows Update will download assemblies in the background, and then when they're available, it'll tell you that those are available to be installed.
Fascinating.
What if I told you I had a really cool, simple VB.NET application that uses the BITS classes?
I would call you a liar.
So now every VB developer now can take the sample app, which is on got.net, under user samples, and search for MikeIM, M-I-K-E-I-E-M. And what this application does, let's just go take a look at the button here. It's just a few lines of code. It uses all the BITS classes up here. We're not going to go through all of the BITS code there, but that comes for free. I just use that.
So you've written some VB.NET code that wraps this BITS functionality?
All the code I've written is just in this BITS demo app. All of this code I got from some developer somewhere. That's posted up on MSDN.
Excellent.
So we're just going to dimension a new job. This is the code we're going to use here. We're going to dimension a new job.
And that's a BITS job using those classes that have wrapped BITS.
That's right. And we're going to create the job. We're going to add the file. We're going to resume the job, which means start it. And then we're going to add that job to my events queue. And then we're just going to update the job status, and that's it. So if I go ahead and run this, what's going to happen is this little VB app's going to run. And I can go ahead and put the exe to whatever I want to download. In this case, I picked Windows XP SP1 because it's 134 megabytes.
That's a big file.
That's right. So all I have to do is put the exe of wherever that file is on the internet and hit download and give it a location. In this case, I'll put it in my documents. And now it's going to start transferring it. It's going to make a connection. Now remember, this BIT stuff just runs in the background. So I'm downloading now. If I go to my browser and start using my browser for real work, BITS will say, ho, somebody's using the line, and it's just going to get out of the way.
What's it going to say?
It's going to say, ho, somebody's using the line, and it's going to get out of the way.
Very nice. Now I can see it's transferring right now.
So there's already 8K, 10K.
Folks, I'm feeling a little bit mischievous. I think I'm going to pull Mikey Biggs's cord.
That's right. I can turn my computer off right now. I can take my cord out. I can go to standby, and I don't have to worry about those bits. When I plug back in, wherever I plug in around the world, maybe China, those bits are going to come back. So go ahead and pull out that cord.
So
go ahead, I dare you. Go ahead, pull it hard.
I'm tugging.
Okay, so now it's out, and we're going to get a notification. Now I put a little bonus network status. I got a little WMI code in there to show you how WMI works and how you can detect different events in your system.
Now we can see that we've disconnected now.
It's disconnected. Look it down in the taskbar here. Local area connection is disconnected. So now plug it back in.
Alrighty.
No, don't plug it in the phone port.
Oh. How's that feel?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so now it says connected, and it's going to resume. Now all we have to do is just wait a little bit and be patient, because BITS is something that works in the background, so it works on the 30 or 45-second timer, and it's going to come back, and you're going to see that this thing is going to be transferring.
Now it's queuing back up.
So it's queuing back up, and it's on a polling interval, right, because it doesn't want to take any CPU cycles, and so eventually it'll poll, and you'll start to see, there it goes. So now it's back to 0, but we're not going to lose all of those bits we already transferred. It's going to leave off right where it left. I think we were at, 12,000.
Now it says it's connecting.
Yep. And it's going to start transferring the bytes. See, it left off, and now it's just going to